All right. Guys, hello. This is the most fun episode I think we've had the chance to plan for at For Creators by Creators. My name is Jess. You just saw the end of season 1. It has been a project of blood, sweat, and tears, and mostly incredible creators who have lent their time, their platform, their artwork, their insights for those of us at home, and those of you that have been paying attention and tuning in and giving us feedback. I am personally so grateful. Thank you for joining us again. Today we have something super special. I'm sure you already see my darling here, Erica Nagashima,
Hi.
One of our first guests.
Second guess, I think.
Second guest to date, yes, and definitely fan favorite. We have her community tuning in every single week, YouTube and Spotify. Thank you guys for being here.
Wow.
Thank you for being here. I
Thank
can't
you
wait to
for having me
dig back
again.
in.
Yay.
Yay. And then I also have our other two just blowout stars from season 1. I have Rio and Vo. Hello, you guys. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for being back. If you guys noticed, we have some tricks that are going to be incorporated later. Don't worry about it now. For now, I just want to welcome everybody back and say, how are you? What has it been like this week for you guys?
This week.
Broadly, the whole week. I think
Okay.
today is Saturday. How has the week been?
It's been good.
Been good?
Can just staying creative, always making something, you know. Yeah, just getting ready for a lot. The end of the year, you know, going to Art Basel, got a couple other things to get ready for, but yeah, it's
That's
just
gonna be fun.
for me.
That's cool.
My week has been great. It's been a lot of creativity and just trying to get my schedule aligned where I can, take all of the things that are my vision for the future and put everything into action and execute. So a lot of minimizing and just getting organized. And yeah, it's been a week for sure.
Is this busy season for you guys, like leading up to the holidays? Do you get a break in the holidays?
I mean, for me, it's kind of always busy, especially with the nature of film and television. Like most of the stuff that people need, I want to say 80% of the time we're rushing. Especially if I'm dealing with like a sports client, for example, a lot of that stuff, a lot of the story building is happening on the fly. Maybe somebody gets injured, or maybe they want to do something special for a new jersey coming out or something like that. So everything we do, I feel like is going live in like 1 week. So you never you like be laying around and it's like, all right, I need this in a day, and it's like, and then you're rushing again.
That's literally the
Yeah.
nature of this, yes.
Well, and I'm so glad that you two especially are back on this side, because you two had worked together earlier in your career.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look at this bookend. I love it
It's
so
so
much.
wild. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
so
is.
crazy.
You guys missed it. There was a little bit of like razzing and challenging for some little live improv things later. Maybe we'll see what happens. But I love the energy, and I
was
want to.
like, nope. No, thank you.
Are we negotiating?
This is a consent-based show, so you are allowed to. On that note, let me just introduce these variables, which we're calling good chaos, okay? So to try and make this season 1 wrap bonus episode just a little bit more wild, we have the option. We have a 3-level drinking game, and each person has agreed to participate. But to clarify, you're allowed to take a sip of the shot if you don't want to have to take a whole one, because some of these might get a little wild. The easiest first level that we found is that in the course of the next interview, if anybody says content or algorithm, they take a sip or they take the shot, whichever works. Are we all in agreement? Have we all acquiesced?
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
do
We're
it.
acquiescing.
And then we're going to have a bit in a second that's going to be drink or spill. So you'll have the choice to take a sip or to answer the question.
Okay.
I have a side pot here for that puts me at the vulnerability, because why not? We're celebrating, and I'm happy to make a fool of myself for you guys giving me your time. But every time that I say, I love that, I have to take a drink, and you guys can hold me to it, because as I've been
Oh, we
editing
will.
this, I'm like, can I not? It's just, I love everything people say, and I'm like, I love that. Okay, so that's the secondary thing for me. And I have my drinks here.
I
that's
watched,
gonna
We
be
also
great.
have like a little fun chaser.
I watched one season of Drag Race recently where one of the contestants used to say, like, exactly or excellent or something, like, nonstop. It's just like, they're kind of like thing to say. And
Yeah,
and that's
I
the
don't
thing.
mind
You know what I
when
mean?
it's
everybody
like-
has that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind when it's like that emblematic thing, but I need to train myself to have
love
a
that.
better.
But you do love
response.
everything. You do love it. So
I
it
love a
makes
lot of
sense.
things.
There you
100%.
go.
Accurate.
There you go.
So, for those that are joining right now, before we dig in too deeply, I want to reintroduce these guests. Please go watch their episodes if you haven't already, because I promise you they were a joy in my life to have captured and been part of. And I think that there's some of the best content that we've been able to gather from this room. But we have, again, Erica Nagashima here, Twitch streamer, content creator, model.
Content.
Oh, gosh.
Already.
Let's
I'll do the first one.
Already.
She's savage.
Wait, what kind
I
of
did
creator
say it
was
back,
that
but
again?
It was just for me to call her out, so I feel like it's fair.
Wow. Yeah, we getting right into it.
I had to.
I forgot that it's going to.
You're not going to be able to do the rest of this interview.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we need to be careful.
Okay. Creators.
I'm a creator.
She's a creator.
of
She's an
things.
opera singer.
And a singer in general, but yes, I studied opera. Yeah.
Wow.
And as we had shown for the audience before, you've had this superpower of kind of community building. And that's such a huge part of Web3 and of all of the future that we have in place for creation is that we're seeing community building be such a driving force for that, right? And you, I think, have done that so beautifully. And then we have Vo Williams. You
Hey.
are music producer. You are rap battle star. You are Web3
Yes.
artist. You go after all of
Keep
these
going.
things.
I'll take all of it. I'm taking all of it. Yes.
And later we might try and get him to do a rap.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
we're hoping.
It's fast forward if you want. It's not going to happen.
He's just the whole episode's me asking. No,
Please,
you're
please.
allowed.
Please.
And we're going to circle back to a thing that just happened this week for you that's very exciting. But I want to
Awesome.
quickly make sure that we introduce Rio again. Rio, you also have this incredible story of being a studio artist, a digital artist, and then just a music producer visionary with the stars. And you have just such an artist soul at your core. You three lit up my work this season. So I just really wanted to thank you guys. And then for those that are watching, we had planned to have Felsmere right here, the beauty right here in this
Felsmere.
seat. She is not feeling well today, but we love her forever. Thank you
We
for
love
trying to
her.
be here, Felsmere. And that was also the music through line because, again, another incredibly talented musician. I have no music skill whatsoever.
She literally refuses to do
embarrassing.
karaoke unless it's her like rapping. By the
Oh,
way.
wow. Okay. All right.
What
way.
song? What song? What's your
Oh, we could do
go-to?
that one song that we did. Remember?
That one was I Need a Doctor, but
Yeah. I need it.
Okay, here we go. What do you need? Need a beat or what?
no, it's not good. What's funny is that the one I used to work at this Irish pub on Sunset Boulevard called Rock and Riley's, and they would
Oh,
have
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that place.
Yeah, and
Good
they would
times.
have karaoke. I want to say it was on like Sundays or Mondays, but they would have. I mean, we had John Legend. We had
Wow.
so
Oh,
many
wow.
people
Yeah,
come
big
through
people.
and do it.
E from Entourage.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
And
was
so
there for
one
that.
day
I was
she
there for that.
pushed me. She's like, "We're gonna do it," and I'm like, "I can't." So she said she signed us up to do. I think I Need a Doctor,
Yeah, it was
and I got. This was bad. I was don't
overdrink.
like mimic this because it's not. It's a lesson learned. I was probably 24 or something, like a little baby, and I was so nervous that I took I think 4 shots at the bar before we went up, and then by the time we went up, it was the
read.
most
She couldn't
horrifying
read.
thing ever. We get up there, I have the mic. And I literally just couldn't say a thing. I was just looking at everybody. I think I had a hood on, and I was just like,
Oh, wow.
packed bar.
Wow.
No idea.
So I just had to sing the parts and be like, okay.
It was just the beautiful vocals, you know?
That's
But the one that
amazing.
I've done for her on her stream is Batty Rap from Fern Gully.
Yeah, so
Ooh.
Robin Williams.
Okay, since you
Okay.
had your first shot, maybe this is when we hear the battery.
Yes. Let's
Fern Gully.
go.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a copyright issue, but
I
as
think
they
it's fine, 'cause
say,
it's just-
according
it's
to
not even
Robin
the
Williams,
music
it's
behind it.
I
that-
don't know. I'm not sure about the copyright thing, but I think you'll be all right.
I think with that, especially if you're only doing like a few seconds of it.
my name is Batty. My logic is erratic. Potato in a jacket. Toys in the attic. I walk and I ramble. My brain is scrambled. Rap like an animal, but I'm a mammal.
Mammal.
So now,
Hey, good.
Vo.
Oh, that was it. I wanted more.
Wow.
No, you know what? Here's my take on your performance. First of all, I'm gonna give out of a 10. I'll give you a 9.
No
And
way.
I feel like you were holding back and you had more.
That's true.
You know
That's
what I mean?
what I'm saying.
That's
But
true.
I think that was incredible, and I love the attitude. I really felt like you were taking me there to Fern Gully, and
She
that was
really
it was incredible.
embodies that character.
Absolutely.
I know, yeah.
Yes, bravo.
R.I.P. Robin. I love that
Oh,
movie. If you
that
haven't
is an
seen
R.I.P.
Ferngully, it's like the one cartoon I recommend returning to.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so
good.
sweet. So we're not going to get an improv from you? She might jump in.
Probably not today.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
Probably not today.
Okay. So
I'm just kidding.
Okay,
No,
all
that
right.
was I was just joking. That's terrible.
So we've done introductions. Everybody knows who you are. I've already done a shot. I'm feeling wild.
I'm so proud. Of you. I'm so proud.
The second game that we dig into is drink or spill, and it is that I'm gonna propose a hot take. Actually, I'm gonna propose a subject for you to provide a hot take to,
Okay.
and you either provide your hot take or you take a shot.
Get
Fair.
canceled or take a shot.
Yeah.
But you can. There's a way.
Okay, all
All
right.
right. So
I
Okay.
don't even have a hot take.
then you take the shot,
Oh.
or you take a sip. Again, you can go slow. You don't have to go wild.
Okay.
What if I think it's hot and it's not?
Everything you say is hot. It's
Oh,
fine.
then I'm good.
Wow.
Yes, there you go. I like it.
the energy
I like
of
that.
this
I like that. That's good.
I don't
That's
think
good.
we need any shots.
That's
at
it.
this
We
point.
solid.
This
Yeah.
is-
We good on. We just water. We're running on water right now.
How do we cool down? Okay, are we ready for number one?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Last night's, I'm time stamping this, but it's soon. Last night's Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. Which before we provide, you can think about your hot take for 1 second because I'm going to interrupt and I'm going to shout out our boy that you, Vo,
Yes.
had a song
yeah.
featured in the fight,
Incredible.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Can you
So-
tell us about that? It's been a big week.
Yeah, it's been a wild week. So right now, streaming on Netflix, there's a countdown for the fight. It's called Countdown Paul versus Tyson, and there's 3 episodes that are leading up to the fight. And the final episode before the fight is it ends in My Music, which is a song that I have called Godly. So if you go on to Netflix and you watch episode 3, right before the fight starts, between the fight and the last episode, you hear my song Godly, and they're like working out and getting ready to
So good.
pump up and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, and it's funny because I've asked a few people offline what their hot takes were. And a lot of people said they really loved the training videos,
Yeah.
which
Because
you would have
of the
been a
music.
part
Yes,
of. That's
absolutely.
why.
Yeah, he's training. Yeah, they're training super. That's crazy that you say that. Yeah, they're training super hardcore to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's wild. Yeah.
Okay, so back to the hot take. But also, we applaud you because that's incredible.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
literally awesome. That's so cool.
I'm
Great
gonna start with
song.
Erica. What's your hot take on the fight?
I don't even know if it's a hot take, but I think it was rigged. I don't know. I definitely think it was rigged. Like, I mean, of course, yes, Mike is 31 years older than Jake. That's significant. But I feel like every fight that Jake has done, I feel like is rigged. I just don't trust it. I'm impressed with how much work he's put in. Like, obviously, Jake has become really, really, shredded and is working hard, but
Well, he's trained. He's training legitimately,
that's
right?
what I'm saying. Yeah,
But
he
he's to
absolutely
your
is.
point. He's strategically picking opponents. I think that fit into the business of what he's creating, right?
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So let's pass the hot take this way. Rio, what is your hot take?
So it's interesting. Like, I don't like or participate in any other sports besides UFC, fighting. Like, I don't know what it is. I think it's kind of like walking towards pain that I just really like. It just intrigues me, right? And
I'm about to take a shot to that.
I was
That
just gonna say that's such a poetic.
yeah,
oh my
I'm about to
goodness.
say,
That
walking
was
towards pain.
yeah,
That's hard.
beautiful.
you know, because
stealing that.
if I stub my toe on this thing right now, I'm out. I'm tapping out. You know, but just to see people just constantly take pain. So I respect anybody that gets in the ring, and that's why even with Jake Paul, seeing him actually train and stuff like that, knowing that even though he has the money to hire all the people and do it. But I think that one thing that I found fascinating about storytelling, especially in this kind of stuff, is the heel, right? The idea that we would watch somebody that we think is an amazing person and we want them to win. That only goes so far. But how you sell millions and millions of pay-per-views and get to be on Netflix is if people hate you so much, they want to see you lose. And I think that Jake Paul has mastered that
Absolutely.
character.
100%.
Because Floyd Mayweather was the same way. Conor McGregor became the same way. It's like they become so brash and so arrogant, and they're saying all this crazy stuff that everyone tunes in. And I feel like every time there's a Jake Paul fight, there's enough time to where we kind of forget this feeling that we all have, where we're just kind of like, man, we didn't get to see him lose and all this stuff, and it was kind of we didn't get our money's worth or whatever that feeling is. And then 6 months pass, and then we see him pop up again. And he says this.
I mean,
and
that
you're
is
man,
like the kind of the nature of this type of sport
Yeah,
anyway. So
yeah.
he's integrating himself well.
But
I guess.
it's on as far as like just the marketing side of the heel character, like it's very wrestling. Like
Yeah, exactly,
I think
exactly.
it's genius.
Genius.
Whether I like it or not.
That is the nature of this type of sport.
Yeah.
Boxing specifically.
Right.
Like you have to. There's always going to be like the protagonist and the antagonist,
Yeah.
I suppose, in it. So.
But the idea that also that you're gonna have people talk about you, and he's got to play that role and be okay with that. Like he leans into that, like
That's been
which
his
I think.
whole story.
But that would be so hard for me to
But that's
do.
not
like,
easy to
yeah,
do.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
not.
It's not
you
easy
know?
to make yourself literally not only open to negative feedback, but
Yeah, yeah.
welcoming
Asking
it,
for it,
enticing it, like catalyzing it.
Yes.
That's not easy.
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to
Thrive
do
on
that.
it, which
Yeah.
is wild to me. I could absolutely not. Oh.
I think if it's intentional, I could do it.
Because you're like, I asked for this.
Yeah, it's like yeah, because it's like if it's a part of the plan, if we're sitting at the round table and we're saying who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, and it's me, but it's gonna earn us $40 million. I'll never break character. Everywhere you see me, I mean, even if there's no cameras around, I'm like kicking plants over. I'm just like, so. Yeah,
Not recycling.
You dig? I think it's hard. Exactly. Yeah. Wait a minute. Did that brother just throw that in the regular garbage can? No, but yeah, no, absolutely.
How do I know you?
So yeah, but I think
Really?
I think you're absolutely right on that front, where it's like you have this person who is leaning into that character. But it's there's a lot of mastery there. There's so many things that have to be appreciated about that if you're stepping outside of being down in it and being affected by it. Like, who's the good guy? Who do I want to win? Who do I want to lose? Who do I love? Who I hate? If you elevate upstream and you're looking down at all of it, then you can appreciate the fact that they even have the awareness that where they stand, and they can accept that so much that they can use it to manipulate. Because I think so many people truly have good intentions and believe that they are the good person or the valuable person, and that their perspective is the one that makes the world better, right? So to be able to accept that and say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can see why people hate me. Whether I believe it's right or it's true or not, let's use that. It just the awareness in general to me is impressive. Like, how do you know that about and how can you use that in other ways? Just to know something so certain. Like, is there data that you're looking at? Like, are you polling? Like, how are you figuring out?
Comments, bro.
Is the what?
The
The
comments.
comments.
People
But
in the comments.
Unless he's so delusional that he thinks, oh, I'm the best, and it doesn't
Right.
matter. Any of these comments just are just water.
Well, that's
off my
also
shoulder,
being
you know what I mean?
27,
It could be
right?
delusional.
Like, let's
True.
be honest.
Real.
All of us at 27 probably
A little
thought we
delusional.
were
Yeah.
a little delulu.
Mm-hmm.
But also look at everybody's at this table has created something impressive.
Yeah.
Through
Was that your hot take?
Oh no, my hot take is I got a hot take because So for me, I respect Jake Paul and I respect Tyson for putting this thing together for those very reasons. Because from a marketing and branding aspect, like just the awareness to be able to understand all of that and then use that in your favor to generate, that kind of energy. I mean, I had people from Brazil who were texting me about this.
Wow.
So the world stopped to watch this. That's a tremendous amount of power, especially in a moment where a very controversial election just happened like last week, but everybody stopped to watch this. That's a tremendous, it's something that should be, I think, kind of observed and actually studied, because not only is it a great feat of marketing and promotion, but the timing has to be an element of that, which makes it even crazier because it's not a boring time, right? So I appreciate all of it, but a lot of people on the sports side have been saying that I've noticed on social media that they felt it was so sad to see, and my hot take is, look, I heard Tyson say himself, "What is a legacy? I can't take that with me after I die. I'll be gone. We're all gonna be gone. That's legacy is ego. I don't care about that." And
He said that to a kid, didn't he?
he said that to a kid.
Yeah,
I know.
I saw that clip. I was like, oh, look
I
at
know.
kid.
It's wild.
So, I mean, I guess my hot take would be like, for the people who are, and even today somebody came up to me and they were like, oh, I felt so sad watching that. And I said to them, why are we being sad on behalf of a person who is not sad?
Yeah.
It's true.
Tyson said he's cool.
He's
and he
cool.
agreed. You can't make Tyson do anything he doesn't want to do. He signed up for this and trained for it. He is the most individual, the most free person in fighting that I think I can think of. He's gonna speak his mind. He's gonna do what he wants. And he showed up. He did it. So my hot take is there.
All of those rounds. He lasted.
And he lasted all those rounds.
It was
Yeah.
just by decision. So I mean, yeah, he wasn't punked out at any point.
Oh no, not at all.
way.
He didn't get KO'd. Yeah.
Well, I had a question that I hadn't anticipated that came up from this discussion, which is the next hot take.
Okay.
Have you ever, and I'll go first. Have you ever had a villain era? And what did it teach you?
Wow.
I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom.
Well, speaking to the,
Cut the cameras.
you can take a sip and not respond. He's ready.
Oh yeah.
I will start by saying I had a villain era recently. And what it taught me was it showed me blind spots that I had, because there's a certain amount of qualification you can give to where people might have misinterpreted you, or people might have chosen to look you in the eyes the wrong way, or had the wrong impression on purpose. People will purposefully misunderstand you in life, I think. But they say of every piece of criticism, there's some root of truth. And so my learning curve this year has been figuring out, how do I push past that emotional reaction of being like, how dare you? I was trying to be nice. And then instead be like, what actually isn't that called shadow work or something, where we're supposed to like observe the parts of ourselves that could be dark? I'm not taking that shot. That was mine. Rio, have you had a villain era?
I don't think so, but I think that maybe I could be perceived as a villain because I'm like, the older I get, the stronger I am with my boundaries. You know what I mean? Like with people and like things I won't tolerate. And then so someone could be like, oh, he's a villain because he, didn't give me this extra chance or this or that. And it's just like, I've seen it so many times now where I'm like, no, I'm good, Yeah. And I think that like, kind of even going back to the Jake Paul thing, it's like not really caring what other people think or perceive of your actions or how you carry yourself, just knowing my intent and knowing that I came, with positive intentions, and then it wasn't met halfway and I'm out. So.
Well, and that's infuriating to people when you have actual boundaries in place, when you have fought to figure out the space you need to protect.
Yes.
Not all of us are there yet. Yeah. And so the idea that we see, you're either inspired by it or you're infuriated, I think, when you see someone practicing that.
Yeah.
So
even just like fighting for your own like worth, like in like deals or something, and they think, oh, you're hard to work with. Like, no, I just know that I deserve this, and I have the stuff to back that up. Like, why is that so difficult for people to understand? And then like, oh, she's difficult to work with, or they're difficult to work with.
Is that your hot take?
Oh, I guess, I don't know. Yeah. Sure.
Have you been a villain?
Right.
I feel like I've never actually been a villain, but like even like you and me when I was younger in like college or something, I was like a lot more abrasive and aggressive and de-gaffing, which I didn't really think too much about. But Jess, you've even like kind of explained how I was a little bit back then, and I think just with age and growth, you kind of reflect and realize. And at least for me, I've softened, significantly.
Wow.
Yeah, you have. But you've always been delightful.
Thanks, baby.
That's amazing.
What is your hot take?
Yeah, I definitely have had a villain era for sure. And I don't accept that I was a villain at that time. But I can understand. Right. I have the empathy enough to see how I could exist as their villain.
That's
exactly.
I kind of felt like that. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better, because it's like a certain amount of mental gymnastics where you probably, like, the thing that's become most crystallized to me in the last year is realizing that reality exists separate from our perceptions of it. Yeah. And that the reality that occurred is separate from how each of us are going to remember this conversation. Mm-hmm. And I've had to stretch my brain to realize, even if we had a recording of what went down and we had all of the receipts, your perception is true to you, and I have to hold some space for the way that you feel like you were hurt, or for the way that you feel like you were disrespected, or whatever it might be, whatever the beef is. Mm-hmm. And I think that if all of us, like, it's not an easy process, it's really hard to look at yourself as though you have blind spots and be willing to address them. and it's one of the reasons that we have a drinking game today.
Ooh, let's go.
Okay, so the next one is
I feel
what?
like I'm just gonna take one just because no one has.
Well, you can take this one because
you
you're not
have.
gonna want to. You're not gonna want to respond to this one.
Okay, I'm bowing out already.
Cheers. So we have a crypto boom happening right now. It's popping off. We have Bitcoin at I don't know. When I checked last night, it was 91,000, which is multiple all-time highs. Every day, it's a new all-time high right now, right?
Yeah.
What do you perceive as the future of NFTs right now?
I mean, I honestly hope that it comes back because I think the intention of it is something. It solved a problem that I needed solved, right? Which was that I was going to Art Basel in like 2016 with a thumb drive, like, hey, I make art, and they're like, what? And then digital art was not kind of seen as a real art form, and then over time I saw it embraced, and then all of a sudden we had this huge boom. There was 2022 when we went to Art Basel, it was like all NFTs, and so to be able to see that then die off, and I'm going in a couple weeks now to Art Basel, and it's not as much people asking me to show work and stuff like that. So I think that the way, again, for people to buy the stuff that I make, because most of the stuff I make is not tangible. I think that that has to be a thing. Now, whether it's connected to the markets and it's like up and down and all that stuff, I don't know. But I do think the technology is extremely, helpful, to someone like me. Absolutely. And I hope it does. I honestly do. I hope it's just not one of these things where, it attracts kind of the wrong, kind of people, and it's kind of the same thing over and over again. Hopefully it is different, but humans. So
Cyclical.
Very cyclical.
That's so true. As we have more of an intimate understanding of what the technology is, we'll become a little bit more sophisticated with how we think about it and our groupings of what NFTs are. Even in NFT art, because looking at Rio's work and then looking at some of like the profile picture artwork that's like Bored Apes and stuff like that, and that's not me judging anybody's art or what they perceive as art whatsoever, but I would say that what Rio is doing is so much more different. Just the fact that it's very different than that whole class of PFP profile picture art, where it's like these like characters that are like interchangeable assets, and there's 1,000 of them. What he does is so much different than that. So to have an industry that is undergoing an event industry wide, for me, just shows me that it's very young and that they're grouping people together in a way that in the years to come, people will understand the difference between what Rio does and what a Bored Ape is, and there'll be a whole society of people who continue to collect art and over here and then art over there. So, but I mean, it's not even just art. The technology certifies so many rare things digitally in a way that I think is transparent, and it just fixes a lot of problems. It's literally like the evolution of like writing things on paper, right?
Yeah.
It's the evolution of ink signature into something so much more ironclad and so much more transparent, and reduces the amount of like fraudulent things and stuff like that. If I own the Mona Lisa, that mine is the real Mona Lisa. It's not a replica. So it actually is so much more than like what we think when we're thinking NFTs are down. Yeah, they are down, but it's because people aren't separating. We haven't gotten there yet to where we really are separating things and having more of a sophisticated perspective of what NFTs are,
Or even using the term NFT. It's like, if it's just a certification.
It's just a certification,
it's of art. Like, we don't say this is digital music. We don't say, it's just music, whether it's made with a computer or a guitar, you know what I mean? And I think even the term digital photography is not really a thing, I think it's just photography, right?
Yeah.
And once we get through this language thing where it's like there's a taboo or there's something, a stigma attached to it, I think it's just going to be one, like even the idea of 1,000 true fans, like that was something that was kind of told to me in a lot of rooms and conversations and stuff early on, was like, us as artists, like I can find 1,000 fans that love what I do. And if I get $1,000 from those 1,000 fans, that's $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to get 50 million people to like my song or my art or whatever. And I don't want that, really. I don't want fame in that way. I want, recognition for all the hard work that I do, and I want to find the people that really resonate with that and build the community. But yeah, I think that there's so many talented artists and people that make all kind of stuff that deserve that same right to find their tribe, and not just the only option is either like, obscurity or like fame. Like, there has to be the middle class of success in that way.
For sure. And that was something that I remember, Vo, you had touched on during your interview where you were talking about like, let's hypothetically see the group of people at the barbecue that might never understand what you're creating, why you're creating it, how you're releasing it, what the format of it is, what the currency behind it is. Like, you can't demystify it to them. You can't quite make that click.
Right.
And those aren't your people that you're trying to reach. You'd rather... It's almost like fast food versus fine dining, right? Like there's people that will never enter the doors of a fine dining establishment, but those that do understand the craft behind it.
That's exactly like very different genres of stuff, but like streaming, that's exactly what it is. Like, you can have 0 viewers, you can be a 10,000 viewer person that's like huge. And I'm more in the middle, and like it's just about community and they're supporting me and all that stuff. It's like almost identical.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that I think what you were mentioning, it has to do with figuring out what is that community, what is that target, that end feeling from your art that you're trying to elicit. What kind of person's going to be capable of feeling that from what you're creating?
Yes.
And then just trying to connect with those people. I think that that's definitely one of the things in this creative journey that takes the most time. And I mean, corporations spend so much time trying to narrow down who is our buyer persona, who is the end audience prototype or avatar. And I think what we've found out multiple times through all of your interviews is if you're just leading with authenticity and if you actually have that artistic spark at your core, if you care about your community, which again has been such a huge thing with yours, and if you're consistently trying to create something new, there's going to be success.
Absolutely. And even kind of expanding a little bit on what you were asking about the bull run, I think that there's going to be so much more availability to funds where people can be a little bit more creative in what they're investing in. We are coming out of a bear market where a lot of people, their investments were down. So they weren't moving, they weren't realizing losses. And now so many people have multiplied their money by so much. Even in my project, Dreaming Giant, there are people who are up 2,000%.
Wow.
Yeah, and we launched August 28th. So people, complete strangers, it's like, for me, it was one of those things where I was like, I finally did it. But complete strangers, and I haven't even introduced it to my family. I haven't had time. I'm still building the website, right?
Oh my gosh.
And people are making so much, they're making so many gains and they're holding on to the project. But, I think people are getting more creative. Even looking at my project, which is a crypto, it's not the top, 10. So it shows me that people are looking for stuff to get into and they have liquid funds to move things around and get creative. So I do think people are going to come back and revisit NFTs. And it's only going to take that first story of somebody 10xing on an NFT to bring everybody back, to FOMO everybody back in. I don't think anything about it is corny or that anything has changed. I think it's a brilliant idea, even as it stood in the first bull run. But I think it's just even the first bull run was just people following Bored Ape. Like, oh, if I bought this Bored Ape, then I'd be worth, 10 million right now. So those who are motivated by finance will produce that activity in that market again. And I think it will come. It'll just be the first person to the first leader to invest in something and to buy that Rio project for $1 million, which is a steal.
Hey.
Which is, by the way, is a steal.
Let's go.
Go and get that NFT for $1 million.
Get it.
That's cheap. Yeah.
He's just like,
Get it while you can. Get it while you can.
Wait,
but
so
after that,
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
much about crypto and NFTs, but why do you think specifically that Bored Ape blew up so much specifically?
Good question.
I think it has.
I don't know.
I think it has a lot to do with speculation. Especially a project like Bored Ape, or if you look at what people call like meme coins, which are coins, tokens, projects. They're more for entertainment. They don't really have a utility. Like we're building an AI bot that you can physically use, and then this is the token that represents that company.
It's just silly.
It's just
a
something
silly
to have
ape.
fun, yeah. and so what happens is like, okay, there's X amount of these available, and now the market cap for these things is growing. The valuation for each of these is growing, and why am I not putting $10,000 in this if I'm gonna make 100? I don't care if what the reason is,
Or what it looks like.
or
I don't
what
care
it looks like.
An
Yeah.
ugly. Yeah,
It's almost like
ugly.
to me it was a logo, right? It's like
Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
a Louis
Big logo.
Vuitton purse, and as a girl you see some other girl wearing it, you see another person, and it's like, oh man, I kind of want one of those now.
Some red bottoms.
You know,
some
yeah,
red
it's
bottoms.
whatever that is, that FOMO of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and then you buy it and you get it, and then you get to put it as your profile picture, and then other people see that, and it has status to it, and
Yes.
it's
status.
that's
Ooh, status.
That is a really good point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, especially I would imagine, tell me if I'm wrong, but with NFTs, you're carrying them in a digital wallet, so it's not as brash as investing in a 20-foot print from somebody that has a high value that you might not necessarily love the design.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not as visually obvious.
Okay,
Right?
sorry.
Yeah.
I'll take a
Right?
shot. I'm gonna.
So
do you know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
to your point, you can make strategic investments that don't actually. You might not register with a style at all, or it might not be your jazz, but
Yeah.
you're like, hey, this is going to be
Yeah.
a market mover.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I'll be cool because I have some.
There you go. And I think that's how a lot of the art world works too. Like, I mean, it's not always people are buying things because they like it.
Yes.
This aspiring
Absolutely.
artist that went to NYU that, is fast tracked to be the next person to sell at the Whitney. Let me buy this piece now.
It's
because
investment.
it's
Yeah.
like property. You know that this, they're going to build a hotel over here and then these apartments going to go up. That's all it is.
Bro, that is a really good point because there's a crypto called Turbo that's out. Have you heard about
Yeah, I
Turbo?
have.
And it was completely, this guy started the project with the community. Just a few people were kind of like paying attention. And he said, I'm going to start this completely with AI. I'm going to ask AI how to build a crypto. And I'm going to ask it for its like tokenomics and the metrics that I should put in that will make it most successful, how to market it, et cetera. And I'm going to allow for AI. I think it was like the earlier days of like ChatGPT, like that first came out. I'm going to allow AI to guide me through how this thing is going to go. And I'm just going to follow it and see what happens. And people were so interested in the story that they began to invest in it as a community, and they got really invested in it as a community. And then the community became a part of their identity because people are a part of something that's cool, that, and it's just a narrative. And now I think, I don't know what he started with, maybe like $100 or $20 or something. The valuation of that coin right now is like $2 billion, $3 billion.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
it's like
money.
2 or 3 billion, I think, something like that. It might be like 1.5 billion.
Chump
Maybe by the
change.
time this comes out,
In the billions.
it's in the billions.
That's,
Yeah, with a B.
With
Yeah,
a B.
With a B.
big
With a B.
bold B.
yeah.
I have one quick follow-up question before we get back to drinking, which is that you mentioned with traditional artwork, there are market makers who are deciding, tastemakers who are deciding what has value. Christie's, a lot of the auction houses, a lot of these art specialists. Who do you think is making those choices with NFTs and with digital artwork? Is it the collective? Is it the artist? Is it just the oh,
Get it? Oh, get it?
I'm gonna have to go ahead and take a shot. Right?
well, I have to take one too because I started saying algorithm. So cheers.
All right, let's do it.
Oh snap! It was a question. It's a slam dunk.
Okay, we're trying our best.
Chin chin.
Cheers. All right, guys.
Goodbye.
You know what?
Come
bro?
by.
But in Portuguese and Brazil, that's how you say. That's like
Yeah.
I mean, that's all over Europe too, right? Is it Europe or is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I only
popular.
know
That's crazy.
Irish and
Don't
Italian.
Thank you for putting me on.
Irish is slancha.
Yeah, slancha. Yeah.
Slancha.
Slancha.
Isn't
Slanch.
Russian
Slanch.
Nastrovia?
Nastrovia.
Nastrovia.
I think that's Russian.
Slancha Nastrovia. Okay.
Nastrovia.
That's literally.
He's just over here trying not to get canceled.
No, but what is the name? Oh my
Speaking
goodness.
in tongues.
Wow.
Listen.
There's like gonna be a huge part where we're just like cheering and laughing, and then we're like super serious like right after that.
What I'll do is I'll put one of your songs over it, or Fern Gully's Batty Rap, and they'll just see us having a great time. They won't know why.
Oh,
It's just the
man.
Fern Gully. You sing the Fern Gully thing. And
Yeah.
us just talking about
Like a ghost, just like up
Oh
there.
my goodness.
Guys,
Yeah, the last
can
thing
I-
you're gonna see is me saying chin chin.
Oh boy.
And we're back. I'm almost horrified to reveal it, given that like I realize that this is basically the paint for Microsoft, but for every episode to date that we've had, I have been beyond what the studio is able to give me of the audio and the video syncing. I have been editing those things in iMovie. I finally decided to get Premiere, so I'm going to be learning that.
DaVinci Resolve.
CapCut's for the long form?
No, long form. No, that's different.
Wait.
CapCut is for the reels
CapCut.
and stuff.
Wait, you can do CapCut for long form?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
I make music videos in it.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
does it.
Serious?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's so much easier than Premiere.
No
to me.
way. Well,
Yeah.
Premiere is a lot. You open it up and you're
It's
like,
hard,
what
yeah.
am I? It's like
CapCut
a
is
feast.
like-
I'm interested because I use DaVinci Resolve, so I don't really.
I mean,
for the long form.
that's amazing. DaVinci
Yeah,
is
DaVinci
like
is
the
like-
best.
yeah,
for
for
And
sure.
she's the one that Ayla told me to use.
Yeah, no, it is one of the best.
Yeah.
But I use the free one, free
Got it,
version.
yeah.
So I don't have the pro.
Yeah,
She's a
still, that one's
saver.
complicated for me.
I gotta save. I don't pay for the.
Yeah, why not?
the,
Getting
the
it done.
CapCut or the
Okay.
DaVinci Resolve Pro.
But you're saying you can edit long form in CapCut.
I did not know
sure,
that.
yeah.
I do, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's takeaways.
not know
Guys,
that. I'm not
things
gonna
we didn't
lie.
know that we know now.
And I like things that are
But again, you have to do Pro for it on
yeah.
the desktop.
I think
Yeah,
things that
sure.
are like apps, right? Like this idea early on that like kids were gonna learn code. Everyone's gonna learn code, and I was like, no, apps are the future. Like if you can hand it to like a 3-year-old and he can start. It's a music making app and the kid starts making things. I think that's what it's about. I think CapCut is that for kids now. Like everyone's editing all their videos on their TikToks and stuff with it. And so because it's so approachable.
User-friendly.
You know what I mean?
Really.
Things that would take me a while in After Effects to do, it's like in CapCut there's kind of just like an option for it.
Yeah.
It's like really it's really interesting.
I opened up CapCut. No, I opened up an edit, I think, of your episode that I had done in CapCut, and it still had the little like watermark at the top when I was showing a 15-year-old who will be very quick to humble me and tell me when I am cringe. And she was like, CapCut! And I was like, yeah. So definitely the kiddos are all about it. That's
Wait,
good to
you had
know.
a watermark on it?
Well, it had, I don't know. It had it at the top.
Oh, I don't get that on mine. I don't pay.
Maybe you do pay. Who knows?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay, the next hot take.
Okay, the next one.
Are we ready?
CapCut's like
Do we
emailing you
pay?
right now. Wait a minute.
Do we
CapCut.
pay? Do we pay for these things?
Right after this, it costs money to use CapCut.
Shoot, they know about it, right? If there was I'm going to say creator because I can't say the other word without taking a shot. If there was a trend that you want to see die, what is that trend for 2025?
The little like trapped in the box dance moves where they dance, they just like feel like they're trapped in the screen.
Is that how they develop that dance? They're like, you're in a,
that
this is
what
your
it actually
motivation.
is?
That's what it looks like to
Oh,
me.
okay,
Like they're
that's
trying
your-
not to make their hands go outside the camera screen.
Oh.
So they're just kind of like always doing something. I hate that.
Oh, wait. I know.
wow.
That's good to know. I
what
can't.
Mine is
What is yours?
these gorgeous men. They are beautiful. That are just doing these like.
Thank you.
Look in the mirror and be like. And they're like just all of these like stupid like why are you you're ruining your beautifulness.
You're working against yourself here.
Really, it's cringe. It's so
it's
cringe.
just beautiful men
They are
looking
stunning.
longingly in the mirror.
Stunning, and they're doing these weird things where they're like,
Who's finding these beautiful men to
See,
get
listen,
them to do this?
I'm not on that part of the internet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Use a special
I don't get
subscription. Oh my goodness.
Wait, but there's
That's what you do pay for, huh? Dude?
no, but there's a yeah, $10.99 a month. Yeah. All my money goes.
have you not seen
For those pretty
a
boys.
single
No.
one? They literally go like, I think I've
No,
seen
I think we
there's
have
this
a
one guy,
different-
Alima, Olima. He's this like
No.
hilarious guy.
Oh yeah, I follow him.
Yeah, right?
The comedy one.
He's
Yeah.
always like wearing like a little wig and like just trolling people.
Yeah.
He will find those videos. Of these,
Right.
like, and then he'll parody
Like
it.
stitch 'em? What were you gonna say?
Yes.
I was gonna say that he's having a different experience on social media than you. So you're seeing stuff that you want to see. He's not seeing that, but I can't remember why. No, but there's like a name.
why is
There's
that?
a thing
There's
that
a thing.
controls it.
Yeah, there's something that controls it, but I can't remember.
What is
that?
Jess, what is
That's
that name?
true.
I don't know. I knew it before, and then I had a shot because I knew it, and I no longer know it.
I was so bad.
That was
You
actually good.
tried.
You almost
I
got
said
it.
it.
I was like, what's
I almost said it myself.
Is this chaos?
Does it count if you spell it or
A
no?
little bit chaotic.
There's a reason why I can't see.
We might have to do the wide shot.
I can't remember the word.
I know, truly. So, but wait, what's your hot take? What do you want to see die?
Ooh.
I phrased it very intensely.
You know what I am not into is like the red pill stuff.
Oh man.
Like Matrix or like
no.
hymns?
There's this whole genre of like social. What do you say?
No.
Hymns?
Hymns?
What does that mean?
Hymns? You
know
just say
what hymns
hymns?
is?
Isn't there like
You
a
know what
red-
hymns
a
is,
red
right?
pill
Hymns
boys
like
are
from the
taking?
Bible?
No.
Oh,
Hymns?
HYMNS? Oh, what?
What do you mean red pill?
Chin chin.
You guys
Chin chin, y'all.
Hims is like the male.
I'm saying that's what
What's it
that's-
called? What's it called?
HIMS.
I've never heard of it.
She said red pill.
Never heard of it.
Hims, you want to sponsor
Sorry, guys.
our pod?
That's not in my.
so.
that
You
don't-
said
I don't
red
get
pill. She
those.
said Hims. It's a different kind of pill.
I don't
That's
get those ads.
It's not the same.
Undo me. I am so sorry.
None of this is going
I
in
know
the
what
show.
you're talking
Right?
about. I know
Oh
what you're
my
talking about.
goodness gracious.
No, but no. There's like a whole like genre of like wow, I almost said it. There's a whole genre of creators
Yes.
who are making
good.
stuff for people who want to see like traditional women, traditional men,
Trad.
that kind of
Trad
stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Shit.
Oh, you did say.
You did.
That's okay.
She's
I got one.
honest.
Yes.
It comes from the, in the Matrix, it's like red or blue pill,
Yeah.
right? And it's like taking the other path, which is that like, kind of men are the prize and, we need to be courted. And like, there's like a whole thing where men, or they treat women a certain way or, high value men.
Andrew Tate is the
That's red pill.
That's
Yes,
yeah.
I would like to see that guy
unsubscribe
too.
from that one.
I'd
Yes.
like to see that guy too.
Yeah, I
Nice
can't
job.
stand that stuff. I cannot stand that stuff.
You're like, we spent a lot of time evolving, didn't we?
Yeah, literally.
Come on.
Albeit if the woman just wants to do it for fun, that's fine.
Yeah, sure.
There
Like,
is
do your
something
thing.
fun as a woman about like putting on a little dress and like making a meal on
You did that.
occasion.
I saw your story the other day.
So I sometimes will just channel this former like era where I'll make like a filet mignon meal.
You do a
In
little
here.
trad wifey stuff,
But it's
Very
because
cool.
I don't
It's
have to
different from
be
what
that. It's not
Got
the
it,
expectation.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like a simulation,
Right.
right? You
You're
get
having
to
fun.
just like play a role, and I
Yes.
think that's where you get to appreciate it is when it's outside of your norm.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And when you do have respect and freedoms and all those things.
Yes.
Yeah. When it's not expected, that's
Right.
Yeah.
a whole
Right.
different story.
Yes.
And I think mine already died, which I mean I love the idea maybe of being demure, but I'm glad that's not happening. That was like a flash in the pan. It was everywhere, and then everybody's like, "No, we
I don't
changed our
remember
minds."
The idea of demure.
Demure? You didn't see the demure?
Yeah,
What
that
is
was
it? Demure
everywhere.
and like there was another
The
term.
whole like,
yeah.
very demure.
Yeah.
How you
that
show up
one,
to work is the way you
She was
interviewed
just talking
for it.
about the makeup
Yes.
that she put on for her work.
Yes,
It wasn't about like her actions.
but it went far, and that
Very-
speaks to
very
the
Cutesy, very demure.
cutesy and demure.
Mm-hmm.
But that speaks to the power of this content. I think also one thing that I meant to
The power of the what? Oh! I was just.
You don't have
Oh,
much
you're on
left,
it.
Jess.
I only have one.
You can take some of mine.
I only
I
have one
know,
shot left.
right? I rigged this in your guys' favor
You did.
because I'm so grateful you're taking the time.
I love that. I was just waiting. I was just like, oh, and it happened in
got
slow
it.
motion.
That's what she said. That is what she said.